The Nintendo Wii was a very interesting system. It really brought Nintendo back to the forefront of gaming, but the problem was a lot of people said that the system was for casuals. You had games like Wii Sports and mini game compilations that were super popular on the system, but a lot of people acted like there weren't any actual games on the system. Hardcore games, games for gamers. And that's entirely not true. With over 1,600 games for the Wii, there were tons of great games on there, and just a lot of people didn't play them. A lot of people overlooked them, or a lot of people just didn't care about them. So in this video, I want to spotlight some of those games, because the Wii has a really good library, I feel. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of my Wii hidden gems. So let's check it out. So the first game I want to talk about is Obscure to the Aftermath. Now this is a sequel to a PS2 and Xbox game called Obscure. And if you ever watch like a 90s horror movie with teenagers, you pretty much know what to expect with this game. Now this game follows the kids. The original game had the kids in high school. Now this game has the kids in college. And it's a really fun game. It has cheesy voice acting, the story is pretty laughable at times, but it's enjoyable enough to where you will want to play this game if you're a fan of horror games. The real sort of catch to this game is the fact that there's two-player co-op at all times. So if you have a friend or someone you want to play this game with, it's definitely worth checking out. Now originally this was a budget title on the Wii, but you wouldn't really notice that. I think the graphics are really good, the audio is really well done, and it's just a really fun game. It's not a super long game, but if you're a fan of horror games, if you're a fan of local co-op games, Obscure the Aftermath should definitely be on your radar because it's dirt cheap and it's a really fun game. Next up we have Muramasa the Demon Blade, and this is probably one of the best Wii games, period. And I know that's saying a lot because there's a lot of great games on the Wii, but this is definitely one of the best. It's an action game with RPG elements. There are two different characters to choose from, and they each have their own sort of play style, which makes, multiple playthroughs a thing that you'll want to check out. And I mean, just look at these graphics. They are some of the best graphics on the Wii, period. Highly stylized. Look at the background, like the blowing grass and stuff. It just looks so gorgeous. And it's just a fun game. If you're a fan of old school hack and slash side-scrolling games, this game definitely needs to be on your radar. Like I said, it's probably one of the best Wii games overall, period. And it's a shame that more people didn't check this game out when it originally released because it's just a fun game. There's a lot to do, there's a lot to see, and the combos are awesome. The weapon upgrades are awesome. Tons of customization for your character. So if you haven't played Muramasa the Demon Blade, you are honestly missing out on one of the best games of the Wii generation. So make sure you check it out. If you are a longtime viewer of my channel, you know that I love the Wii version of Ghostbusters. Now, essentially, this is the true third movie in the Ghostbusters franchise. It has all of the original voice actors, and the Wii version is just my favorite version because of the motion controls. Yes, the motion controls actually add to a game, and they just feel great with this game. It really feels like you're wrangling in these ghosts, and it's just a fun game top to bottom. There's a lot to do, there's a lot to see, there's indestructible environments, and just the gameplay is just very top notch. I love the presentation in the game. The cartoon environments, can be off-putting. The PS3 and the Xbox 360 versions went with a more realistic graphical style, but I like this cartoon style. I was a big fan of the Ghostbusters cartoon, so this kind of resonates with me. And just the game is very fun. If you're a fan of Ghostbusters, if you're a fan of the movies, this game definitely needs to be on your radar. Even if you've played the PS3 or the Xbox 360 version or the PC version, I think the Wii version is definitely worth checking out just because of the motion controls and these stylized graphics. And it's not a long game, it takes about 6 or 7 hours to beat, but you will have a blast literally the entire time playing it, wrangling in ghosts like Slimer, just destroying property, trying to see what you can and can't do, and just a great game. And like I said, the voice acting is just top notch, really adds to the game, and really adds to the atmosphere of the game. So definitely check out Ghostbusters on the Wii.
The psychonic vibrations seem to be amplifying their energy. Their manifestations are becoming more powerful and dangerous by the second. But don't be afraid, because...
Another game I love to death is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Now, if you've ever played a Silent Hill game, this could be a bit off-putting because there's no combat, there's no weapons, there's none of that. This game is more of a psychological horror game, and it's immensely well done. I really enjoy the Wii version. The motion controls really sort of add to the game, I feel, using the flashlight, navigating these areas, and it's a reimagination of the first game. So if you've played the first game, you'll notice the same lead character and sort of the same lead story, but the way the game plays out is completely different. Being a psychological horror game, the main draw to this game is the different endings. There's so many different endings in the game because the game adapts to the way you play it. So if you look at a sexy poster on the wall, it kind of pegs you as a pervert if you look too long. And so the game changes. There's Q&A questions with the psychiatrist like you saw earlier, and just a really, really fun game. The lack of combat can be a bit off-putting because this is what you do. You run from the ghosts. You run from these demons in your head. And it's a game that really makes you think. I really enjoyed this game. It's also available on the PSP and the PS2, but once again, I feel the motion controls add to this version of the game, and it makes the Wii version superior in my opinion. So if you're a fan of horror games, definitely check out Silent Hill Shattered Memories. This next game, literally nobody ever talks about, but it's one of my favorite Wii games. That is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: The Crystal Barriers. And this isn't a traditional Final Fantasy game. This is more Final Fantasy sort of meets maybe Xenoblade Chronicles or Zelda. There's a lot of action in the game, as you see, and all of the battles are in real time. And it's a really great game. I don't understand why this game got so critically panned. It got really mediocre reviews when it first came out, but I ended up picking it up, and it's an awesome action adventure game. There is a ton of stuff to do, there is a ton of stuff to see, and it has classic Final Fantasy elements like leveling your character up, visiting huge towns, tons of exploration, and just a really good game. It's really fun. There's a lot to do. You could do multiple playthroughs of the game and see a bunch of different stuff each time. Really underrated game, tons of little mini games sprinkled in. If you're a fan of action adventure games and you don't own this game, definitely check out the Crystal Bears because it's a phenomenal game and it could be picked up for pretty cheap.
Ah, Lane! Thank goodness! I need you to help me out with something.
One of my favorite games on the Sega Saturn was Nights into Dreams, and it's a phenomenal game in my opinion, and they actually did a sequel called Knight's Journey of Dreams on the Wii. Now this game, people didn't like it. Mostly because of the motion controls, because they were pretty much tacked on. But here's one thing, you can use a classic controller with this game. And when you use the classic controller with this game, the game is awesome. It feels just like the original Knights did, with better graphics, with more to do, more to see, and it still has that classic Knights feel to it. It's just a fun game with a really good soundtrack. Really impressive visuals, I feel, on the Wii. The color palette is really diverse, and with the two-character system, there's chances for multiple playthroughs. The original game even had an online thing in it, but of course Wii's online is now offline, so you can't experience that. But if you're a fan of Knights, if you played the original game, you should definitely check out the sequel, Knight's Journey of Dreams. Once again, this game could be acquired for, under $5, so you should definitely check out this game. A lot of fun. Next up is a first-person shooter. Now, the Wii had a lot of first-person shooters, but in my opinion, this was my favorite, and that was The Conduit. Now, The Conduit was a pretty graphically impressive game for the Wii. Definitely it had its own custom engine that was built just for the Wii, and it shows, I feel. You know, the character animations are really well done, all of the environments, while some of them can be bland, I think they're really highly detailed, and the gameplay is just really fun. Using the Wiimote as a controller, as for a first-person shooter game, is definitely shows the potential that that controller had with this game. The controls were highly customizable. You could customize everything in the game, and it really made for a solid first-person shooter game. Now, this game did have a sequel, but I honestly prefer the original because the original was sort of rooted in reality with a lot of stuff talking about the Anunnaki, the Illuminati, cool stuff like that, and it actually made the story interesting to me, whereas the sequel kind of went off the deep end. They just went into all this crazy stuff, and it has one of the weirdest endings in a video game, period. If you know what I'm talking about, you definitely know what I mean. If not, look up a gameplay of it, or maybe pick up the sequel and play through it, and that ending will just leave you scratching your head. But The Conduit was a phenomenal game when it released. It had a really fun online system as well, and there was just a lot to do with the game. So if you have not picked up The Conduit, I highly suggest you do. Unfortunately, the online multiplayer is, of course, offline, but they're still fun to be had with the single player. Next up is another game that I never see people talk about, and they should, because it's a fun Wii game. It also came out on the PSP, I believe, and that is Tenchu Stealth Assassins. If you are a fan of stealth gameplay, if you're a fan of being a ninja and whatnot, this is a game that should be on your radar. There's a lot to do in the game. There's 2 characters, each with their own storyline, and the stealth gameplay is really fun. The stealth kills look really good, the graphics are solid, and the soundtrack is really well done as well. You can see here, messing up some guards in the hidden mode, boom. I mean, if you like stealth games, it was a really well done game. Not as great as Metal Gear or anything like that, but it definitely was a return to form to Tenchu in my opinion. Tenchu was a huge franchise on the PS1 and one of my favorites. So if you're a fan of stealth games, if you're a fan of action games, there's definitely a lot of fun to be had with Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Once again, it is a super cheap game, so I highly suggest you pick it up. Zack and Wiki is probably one of the most interesting Wii games ever. This was a puzzle game done by Capcom, and it really used the Wii remote well, and a lot of games use the Wii remote but didn't use it well, but Zack and Wiki definitely did. As you can see here, there was a lot to do with the Wiimote. There's a lot of puzzles in this game. The game has amazing voice acting, really stylized visuals, and it's a really great game. This game got tons of great reviews, but unfortunately, like a lot of Wii games, not a lot of Wii owners picked it up because, hey, it wasn't a mini game compilation and it didn't have stupid, silly stuff to do like, you know, Wii Sports or something like that. So a lot of people did not get to experience Zack and Wiki. If you are one of those people and you own a Wii or a Wii U, you need to rectify that situation. Definitely check out Zack and Wiki if you're a fan of puzzle games and highly stylized games, because it does a great job of both. House of the Dead Overkill was a exclusive to the Wii, and this game was just awesome. If you've ever played a House of the Dead game, you know that it is a light gun shooter, and the Wii had a lot of these because of the control system. And so you had games like House of the Dead 1 and 2 compilation, and you also had Ghost Squad, Resident Evil, but House of the Dead Overkill was built for the ground up for the Wii, and it's just a really fun game. If you're a fan of cheesy 70s horror movies and whatnot, lots of blood, lots of swearing, lots of violence, House of the Dead Overkill should definitely be on your radar. The lead character is sort of a Samuel L. Jackson style character, and it's a really well done game. It's gory, it's violent, there's a lot of hidden stuff, there's a lot of reason to play through the game again after you beat it. It definitely is on the short side, but once again, this was one of the crowning achievements in my opinion on the Wii, just because it was so different. You weren't getting games like this on the PS3 or the Xbox 360. So if you've never played House of the Dead Overkill, make sure you pick it up, make sure it's on your radar, because it's a really fun game. And that is just a sampling of some of the Wii's hidden gems. There are a lot more games I could have talked about,
but this video would have been entirely too long. So I definitely will be doing a follow-up on this because I feel there's a lot of other great games on there that I didn't get a chance to talk about. Let me know in the comments section down below if you've played any of these games before, and if you have, what you think of them. Let me know what games I should put on the next edition of this list, and thank you for watching this video. As always, be sure to like this video, check out other videos on the channel, subscribe if you're new here, and of course, if you really like my face, check out my Patreon page. I will catch you guys next time. Later.